Hi, everyone. Welcome to Radiant Living, Inspiring Humanity to Thrive. I'm your host, Marisa B. Today, I have with me Tara Hayes. Tara is the owner and CEO of Tarafied Publishing, LLC. She's an author of Irrational to Rational and Panic to Picnic. She's also an anxiety advocate. Hi, Tara. Thank you so much for coming today.
Hi, Marissa. Thank you so much for inviting me.
First of all, I'd like you to explain a little bit about how you got on this journey, because it's entrepreneurship, it's publishing, authorship, and also anxiety that's been overriding this. So can you tell me a little bit about all of this?
Sure, I will. I will tell you how my journey began. So, I was at a point in my life where I needed some direction. I was in a low point. I was just laid off from 2 full-time jobs within a 10-month period. So, I said, what can I do to improve my life, or what I needed something else fulfilling. So, I was on YouTube and I ran across a self-publishing course. So I had no idea what I was going to write about, but the self-publishing just seemed interesting to me. It just intrigued me. So I figured it was a way that I was meant to run into it. So I didn't know exactly what I wanted to write about at first. So I narrowed it down to what I felt would be inspiring or something that I could talk about fluently. And it became anxiety. So, because I've had it my entire life. So I said, well, it'll be like a relief for me, like only a relief and a release to help other people. So that was the goal with that. And I published the first one, From Irrational to Rational, in December of 2019. And then I published Panic to Picnic in March of 2021. So they're both about my story with anxiety, and then Panic to Picnic is the updated version with more healing practices that I began applying on my journey, which is the self-care, the self-love, the yoga practices, and everything with that. So after that, I said I need to get more people interested in the book. So I decided that I wanted to become an anxiety coach. But that didn't that didn't quite align. I did work with some people, but then I felt myself getting triggered by the people that I was working with. So I said, you know what? Let me take a step back and see how I can still help people by sharing my story. And that's when I decided to start Tarafied Publishing, LLC. And where the goal is to also help women share their story via self-publishing. So that's how I went from the entrepreneurship to the anxiety coaching for a little bit, and then to becoming a publisher with Tarafied Publishing.
Because of course, I think it's wonderful, first of all, let me tell you, that you tell your story, because a person, as a therapist dealing with people with anxiety, that's frightening for them.
Exactly.
And I have to applaud you for wanting to tell your story out there, and then helping everyone with telling your story and moving forward with the publishing, because it is difficult to talk about. And then comes the, how would I say, entrepreneurship. But as you mentioned, the wellness, the self-love, the self-care has to come. It's a whole package.
Right.
And it has to be a whole package as you move forward in life. So how did you balance all of that? How did you start to balance? Because that's in a relatively short period of time. You're talking 2019 to currently.
Right. And I wanted to touch on it. You said that it's fear for people to actually talk about their story. And it definitely was for me too. Like, I didn't tell anyone about my book, the first one, until I guess about 3 months after I published it. I published it in December 2019. I didn't tell anyone until about March of 2020. And it was because of fear, because I'm normally an introverted, quiet person. So it's like, people are going to judge me because I'm talking now. I barely talk. And then now I decide to share my story. So how I got out of that is I just made it less about me and more about the people who could relate to me. It's like, somebody needs to hear that they're not alone. So I started thinking more about other people than myself. And I actually had to do like a post, like on Facebook, like a coming out post saying, hey guys, I'm an author now. And then people were supportive. They're like, oh, congratulations, and everything. So that's how I dealt with that. And yeah, it is scary. And I know how scary it is, which is why I wanted to be the example for people, because I know there's people out there who probably want to tell their story and they don't know how to. So when they find me and they come across me, then they'll know that, oh, she's doing it, then I can do it as
Mhm.
well. So yeah. And then like you said, like we said, the self-care and the self-love definitely comes with it, because entrepreneurship is not easy. Like it's like a lonely road for a lot of
Yes.
people. And you have to develop your mindset. That's another thing I did too. I had to work on my mindset to actually believe in myself that I could do it. And, and surround yourself with a community of like-minded people who had gone through the same journey, maybe not anxious about it, but had some anxiety about it. But everybody
Hmm.
has some fear about it. But yeah, the road to entrepreneurship is definitely not easy, but that's why you have to practice the self-care and the self-love to keep yourself going. And I like to like self-care and self-love looks different for everyone. So
Yes.
what's included in mine is I like to do daily exercise because that helps with my mental clarity, and not only
Hmm.
mental but physical. And then also journaling. I would journal daily about the things that are bothering me, about or the things that were working or weren't working. So journaling has helped as well. And then I would also do some healthy eating as well. Like I used to do the green smoothies. I have to get back into that, but that was
Hmm.
another thing that provided like mental clarity for me. So
And so it's funny that you say, because really anxiety, in order to address anxiety, one has to figure out what the fears are.
right, right,
You have to figure out what your fears are in order to address anxiety. But with everything can come anxiety. Uh,
right.
if you're an anxious person, and so it's that much more difficult to put yourself out there. I like how you said you had a coming out party for your
Yeah.
author status because you were fearful. And it's funny, I have to say that I find that most people are really concerned about themselves and
Hmm.
not what you're doing and saying. um,
Right.
they I'm sure that there are people who are going to maybe ridicule.
Hmm.
Recently I had a conversation with a group of women about this. Hurt people that are hurting say hurtful things.
Right. Right.
So I'm sure that that's out there, but really most people are trying to live their life to the best that they can, right, on a daily basis. So they're not concerned with what I'm doing or you're doing or their neighbors doing, because they're just so wrapped up in their own life. It's
Right.
not a selfish thing, but it's a valid story of what we're all doing on the planet. So did you find that was true when you had your coming out, that there wasn't anybody that was ridiculing?
Right. I definitely did find that, and it definitely resonated with what you said. And that was another thing that helped me too, is like, it's like nobody's as concerned about me as as they are themselves, because everybody is what's in it for me. So, everyone's just trying to keep their own, their own life together. So,
Mm-hmm.
whenever I made like, I would get in my head about certain things that I said, oh, maybe I shouldn't have said that, or maybe I shouldn't
Mm-hmm.
have posted that. But then I was like, you know what? People are too busy thinking about their own. So they're not concerned about Tara as much as I'm concerned about me. Or if I've
Mm-hmm.
said something that I overanalyze, it's like people have already moved on, because they're, they're so busy with their own life. So definitely that definitely hit home what you just said. And then I also wanted to acknowledge too that although I do practice self-care and self-love, I did spend years in therapy,
Mm-hmm.
and I did apply the techniques that the therapist suggested, but I didn't I didn't really begin applying them until I shared my story. And I'll say that because I had something to apply it to. Like I was resistant for years, but then
Mm-hmm.
as soon as um I had someone to share with, I guess, because they say sometimes um you can heal your own anxiety by helping someone else heal theirs.
Mm-hmm.
So I feel like as soon as I started that and I realized that I had people who are reading and people who are resonating, that's when I said, well, Tara, you better get on top of what you're saying works. So then that's what helped me continue like my self-care, self-love routine because of other people watching.
Now you say that you were resistant, even though you went to therapy, you took the traditional route, but you were resistant. Do you think that you were resistant because of all the anxiety that you had? And you think that that's what it was?
Um, I think I just didn't want to go to therapy, honestly. Like I started therapy when I was 15, and I just didn't really never wanted to go. Like my father was a pharmacist, so they sent me there like to get help. So but I and then I had to get on prescription medication, and I
Mhm.
just really didn't I don't know, whatever they told me, it just didn't resonate. So
Hmm.
think I had to get into a point in my life where enough was enough, where I had to say, they can give you all the tools, but if I don't start applying it, it's not going to make
Yes.
a difference, So I think I just decided to one day say I had enough of being a victim to my own anxiety. And that's when I said, I'll have to start doing the things that were shown to me. So,
But you did introduce alternative healing methods afterwards, correct? I mean, after the,
yes, yes, because I'm no longer on prescription medication.
oh,
So
wonderful.
yeah, yeah. It was just, I just never really thought it helped me. I know it works for some people,
Hmm.
works for a lot of people, but for me, I just always thought it was another way. So, and I've been doing that for 6 years now.
And so explain a little bit about how you work with publishing. You've created this publishing. First of all, you wrote your books, then you create
Hmm.
and you self-published them, correct? You self-published them,
Correct.
and then you created this publishing house. So explain a
Yes.
little bit about that. How are you helping people? Because I think this is a wonderful idea. How are you helping people out there? Or because you help men and women. Yes, right.
The
Yes, you do.
focus is women, but but I wouldn't turn a man away.
Right, right.
So, yeah, the publishing company I started in 2021. So it's fairly new. It's almost 2 years old. So, and it has multiple functionalities. So do you know what a digital printable is? Like a template, like a lead?
Yes, yes, I do. But can you explain it to the audience in
Sure.
case someone doesn't know?
Sure. So what I do is I do a lot of work in Canva. Canva is like a graphic
Hmm.
design app.
Hmm.
And then I work with coaches who are like,
Hmm.
wellness focused businesses, and say they want like a lead magnet. A lead magnet is
Hmm.
something that can attract, potential clients, potential
Yes.
buyers. So what I do is I go into Canva and I create a lead magnet for the
Hmm.
coach who wants a supplemental journal to
Hmm.
supply to their clients. And they're wellness focused. Like I'll do like a journal and it'll have like a schedule, like a routine. So it'll keep their clients accountable. And then there's some self care that I include in the journals. So I'll do journals and then I also do planners that are digital. And then I can make them fillable and interactive. So if there's anyone who doesn't like paper, who doesn't want
Hmm.
printable, they can actually fill it out on their device, on their
Hmm.
laptop or on their tablet. So I create and design that for coaches, and some I did one for a pelvic floor therapist as well. And then also the ebooks. So if there's someone who wants to publish on Amazon like I did, then I can show them the entire process that I went through, to show them, because I've made mistakes as a self-published author. So
Hmm.
basically giving them my blueprint so they don't have to make the exact same mistakes that I did. So that's what falls under Tarafied Publishing. And also, I've also had since I do digital, like it's basically
Hmm.
digital marketing. So I also had some people approach me who wanted like a digital course done. So I can also do that as well at Tarafied Publishing. So we start with a roadmap and I show them exactly where they are on my roadmap. And I create a roadmap for them based on what they tell me. Like I have them answer 5 questions and I create a roadmap based on
Hmm.
the information that they provide for me. And then I'll show them, hey, you're here on this roadmap. And then we can turn your roadmap into a manual. We can turn your roadmap into a digital course. So those are all the things that fall under Tarafied Publishing.
It's funny you say that because having having to weigh through all this myself, which I have,
Mhm.
it's no easy feat.
Right.
So somebody who does this is fabulous. I find this wonderful information for me personally. We should have spoken earlier when I was going through all of it. It was just a lot to wade through. But now, so you provide a blueprint for the publishing. Now, do you edit for them or do you provide them with editing services from someone else? How do you work that?
So I do actually work with a team. I do the reviewing myself. Like I have reviewed manuscripts, and then if it's someone that I feel that I could pass on to someone else in my network, then I'll do that as well. Like I've connected with a ghostwriter who she actually provides those services. So if it's someone that comes to me, like for example, I publish inspirational, wellness focused So if someone comes to me and they say they want erotica or something, I say,
Mhm.
sorry, that doesn't fall
You have
under what I
someone
do.
else.
Yeah, and I'll bring them to someone else in my
Uh-huh.
network. So yeah. Yeah.
And so, give me a little example of how it would work in publishing. So someone comes to you and you say that now, from certain mistakes that you made initially, now you're explaining to people how to not make those mistakes.
Right.
How does one start? Because many people have ideas.
Right,
And as you
exactly.
mentioned earlier, you went to therapy, but you had to implement those tools. So many
Right.
people have ideas, but they really
They don't
don't
implement them.
implement what they should implement in order to move forward. How would one do that with you? Give me an example of, say, a person that comes to you, they say they have this book idea.
Hmm. So an example is what I would do is I would start out with a questionnaire. It'll ask them, who's your audience for? Um, what is
Mm-hmm.
it that you want to write about? What do you want to accomplish? Because a lot of people, like when I started, I just knew I wanted to write about anxiety, but I would not had an idea who I was talking to. I was
Mm-hmm.
basically just talking to myself. But then I was attracting people like the old me. I was attracting people who had anxiety but didn't really want to do anything about it. So I was like,
Mm-hmm.
what do I do with these people? They could read the book and get value out of it, but I couldn't necessarily get them to the next step. So
Right.
before I work with someone, I want to make sure they know who they're talking to, what is it they want to accomplish, why do they want to know their why. So because those are very important, so I ask those questions just to get them clarity on
Mm-hmm.
exactly what they want to do. And then after that point, then I'll put everything together on the roadmap, and then I'll explain the roadmap to them and how we can
Mm-hmm.
work together. So
Because it's actually exactly what you said. It's a roadmap, because you need
mhm.
to know who the audience is. Because that
Right.
it's similar in therapy. People come in, they know that there might be an issue, but they're not sure what the issue is, or they have many issues. They don't know where to begin to address things. You do have to get on some sort of road to move
Right.
forward.
Right.
So now, how how many people do you have doing this? Because you do most of the reviewing. So
Right.
I'm sure that there are many people that are contacting you, even with a glimmer of some sort of idea. And then, to take that idea to a completed product, how long of a step is that?
It actually depends on how long, they want to work with me. Like I require a minimum of 3 months, and we should be able to get at least a printable done within that month, that
Mhm.
period. And then after that become the marketing and the promotions and everything. So, and then I actually had someone come to me and they said about 6 months, but I don't think it should take that long.
Mhm.
It took me I guess it took me about 3 or 4 months just to get my own book published. So
Mhm.
I would say a minimum of 3 months just to get the book ready.
Mhm.
If and it depends also because I could do the research for them. So, but if someone actually wants to sit down and write their own entire book, then
Mhm.
that depends on how long the book is too. So I would say about 3 to 6 months.
And now, is it all that these people are going to self-publish, or do you actually do the publishing now for them? Are they publishing under your publishing house?
Yes, yes. So, well, the partner is Amazon, so I would help them get on Amazon, and then
Okay.
also Ingram Spark is another partner, so I could
Hmm.
help them publish on Ingram Spark as well.
And then, you've done things online. I know you recently did a challenge, correct? It was a
Right,
journaling challenge. And then
right.
you have some sort of Zoom course as well, correct, with people?
Right, right. So, I did the journaling challenge as a 14-day journaling challenge. I had a few women participate. It was actually to reactivate your life journaling challenge. And then it was for women who like we wanted to unpack emotional baggage or just wanted to get into that consistent journaling routine because I've
Hmm.
struggled with that as well. Just the consistency of keeping up with that journal. And then we discussed like whether you prefer digital journaling or paper journaling. So I'm more of a digital journaler because I don't
Hmm.
really like the paper around. So yeah, we did that, just to reactivate your life, just to reactivate your journaling habits,
Hmm.
really, and to build on that. So then the 30-minute journaling Zoom session was to continue what we built on from the 14-day journaling challenge. And then and that I would provide like the printables for them. Like if they wanted to work in the printable, and then we'll review that every time, we'll review that when we came back for the 30-minute Zoom journaling sessions. Yeah.
So you were also providing the printables for the people in the Zoom, because I know you provide printables. You have a kit, right? Don't you have like a starter kit? I believe you have a starter kit for someone who's out there that may want to really seriously think about writing a book.
Right. Yep. It's called the Anxious Author Starter Kit. That's because I'm an anxious author, and I know there's other anxious authors out there, which is why we call them that. And it gives them the 4-step process. Like you have to research, like we discussed earlier. And then once you research, you write your outline or your roadmap, and then you polish your outline before you bring it to the publishing process. And a lot of people think that it's simple. I mean, it is a simple process to get up on Amazon, but there's steps to it. Like the formatting isn't easy, the editing isn't easy, even having a cover design created, that's not easy either. So that's all things that we provide at Tarafied Publishing, like the formatting of the manuscript, the reviewing of the manuscript, the ebook cover creation. So those are all things that we do at Tarafied Publishing.
And now you have a website, correct?
Yes.
So I will definitely I'm going to put that in the description so that people know how to contact you. I know that you also provide more or less a type of, I don't want to say coaching, but you provide a service to people as a mentor for them.
Right.
And so can they contact you on your website for that? Because there is a difference between purchasing the initial kit or any kind of downloadable from some of your Zoom courses. But what about if they really want to be working on that, that book with you directly on a number of months? Can they use the website to get a hold of you for that?
Yes, they can go to my website to get a hold of me for that. And then like they'll see when they go to the website, it should say on the navigation, it should say book a call. And they'll be able to actually book I call them shield chats, to actually get to know, where they are in their journey and what they're trying to accomplish. So, and then if they can't find me there, then I'm also on Facebook. I have a page called Tara Hayes Author. And then I have my personal page. It's Tara Hayes, but it's hard to find because there's plenty of Tara Hayes in the world. So, so if they want to reach me, they can reach me at Tara Hayes Author.
Awesome. I'll put that in the description as well. Is there another book on the horizon for you personally? Because you're so busy now helping everyone.
Right. So the plan was to get my 3rd book out this year, but it's going to have to go in next year. And then that one will be all about self-publishing again, the first 2 are about anxiety. Now this one is going to be about self-publishing, what to do and what not to do when self-publishing, because whenever you're starting out online, you're going to make mistakes. And that's one thing that I was afraid of making mistakes, but that's how we learn, So I just want to share in that 3rd book, the mistakes that I made and then how I correct those mistakes. So that'll be the 3rd book, for under Tarafied Publishing, and it should be coming out next year. So I won't make it this year.
And these books, all of your books, well, the 2 that you've already published are on Amazon for purchase.
Yes, they're on Amazon. Yes, and physical and digital download.
Okay, so you have both of them. And what about publishing to another type of system? Do you deal with that at all? Other than that, well, I know you said the 2, Ingram and Amazon, but do you deal with people? Because years ago they used to have like a person would self-publish under a small publishing house, for example. Do you work with any of those for people?
Right. Not me personally. I haven't. I've just done Amazon, but if someone wanted that, I could refer them to someone. So, but who serves as like a literary agent or a traditional publisher. But me, it's just basically self-publishing.
And how can people find out about your courses or your Zoom thing? Is it also on your Facebook or on your website that they can see that, what you're offering, if they wanted to join, say, live?
Right. So I'm recently going to get my page turned over. I'll have my hub page where they'll be able to access everything, the self-publishing library. And I'll have 3 lanes. I'll have a journaling lane, and then I'll have the the digital printable products lane and then the
Mhm.
self-publishing lane. Because I find that everybody doesn't want to self-publish a book. They might just want to do like a journal or a checklist or a cheat sheet. So that's why I have them in the different lanes, like where they, like if they want to
Mhm.
do their ebook, they can do that. But if they just want like a journal, something for their clients to use, or if they just want to make their own, then that's the digital printable products lane. So
Now, do you do any courses in person? Have you been out there in person? I mean, I know the pandemic, and you're on the East Coast as well as I
right,
am, and we
right.
were hit severely.
Mm-hmm.
And I know things have changed and a lot of things are online, but do you do anything in person?
Not yet. I mean, that's something that I would consider doing. As of yet, it's just been basically Zoom calls that I've been doing with people. But I'm not opposed to doing like an in-person, later on down in the future.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Or classes for that matter, right? In-person classes, because right now all of your offerings are online.
Yeah, all of them are online. Yeah. So I guess I haven't really thought about that. But yeah, I'm not opposed to looking into that later, but to do like a in-person class.
Now, let me ask you, do you find that there's an advantage to self-publishing?
Um, what do you mean?
Well, I mean, do you find that it's easier to self-publish, maybe that's the advantage than to be shopping around for publishing houses? I mean, I'm not familiar with that much of the publishing world
Right,
per
right,
se, and I know it's changed. It's
right.
definitely changed, that I know as well. So do you find that there's more of an advantage that anybody can publish when they self-publish?
Right. Yeah, I feel that this is the advantage. Like you don't have to wait to shop around for a publishing house. And then you have control over the marketing that you can do for it.
Mhm.
Um yeah, and then sometimes it's hard to get like a literary agent, like who will
Mhm.
actually take your book. Some people only want like the big influencers, like, because for whatever reason, like some publishing companies won't even look at you. But
Mhm.
as a self-publisher, like you are not limited to publishing if you wanted to. You're not limited by your
Mhm.
following. You're not judged by your following. So I would say that that would be the advantage of going the self-publishing route. And yeah, and I actually had a friend who did a book. She had a publishing house and they gave her an advance. I think they gave
Mhm.
her what I I'm not sure how much in advance it was, but she didn't have any control over her book. Like they
Mhm.
got her illustrator, and she was upset about it because there were some things that were illustrated that she didn't want in there.
Mhm.
But as a self-publisher, you can choose your illustrator. You don't have to worry about things being put in your book that you don't want in there. So I would say there's
You're in
advantage of some.
control.
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
you're in
Yeah,
control.
yeah.
And I know that now, is it expensive to self-publish? Because I know in the health and wellness field, there are many people who have written books. And
Hmm.
I know a number of people, they say it's self-publishing, but what it is using a small, if I have this correct, they use a small publishing house and
Hmm.
they have to pay up front. So they're
Hmm.
purchasing all of these books, that
Hmm.
physical books that they're
Hmm.
going to then have in their possession because
Right.
they're in charge of distributing and so forth. Is the other way more cost effective, do you think?
Um, I wouldn't say that it's expensive to self-publish. I mean, it depends on how many books you have on inventory too. Like for me, I only buy about 10 copies at a time. I don't want to have all the inventory on hand.
Right.
So it only cost me about $2.15 to print one from
Hmm.
Amazon. So I would say
Right.
that like the printing costs are really low.
Right.
So um
And of course, they're warehousing it,
yeah,
right? They're
exactly.
warehousing it as opposed to a small publishing house. And I know a few of the health, as I said, health and wellness, then they have to take the physical books with them. So
Right.
it's self-published, but you've paid, and then you're taking these boxes with you and you have to store them. And then
Right.
you have to deal with all of that, the physical storing, before you
Right.
move on to digital and even audio. I believe that's all done separately
Yeah.
with those
Yeah.
types of publishing.
Yeah. 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 It depends on how much, inventory that you want to have on hand too. And
Mhm.
then like the marketing too for it. So that's another thing. I think a lot of people like a mistake that I made too when I first started is like oh, I'm on Amazon, this big platform. Everybody's going to come and see me. No, you're one in a million on Amazon. So you really have
Mhm.
to have like a strong marketing strategy for people to know that you're even there. So, just because you get on Amazon doesn't
Mhm.
mean that, so and like that was the ego in the beginning, like, oh, everybody's
Right.
going to come find me now.
Now, do
It
you
still
help with
works.
that marketing? Do you help with the marketing, or do you
Yes.
just help with explaining how to market, or do you actually physically provide marketing services?
Yes, at Tarafied Publishing, we do help with the marketing as well of the books. So the goal is to help them become a bestseller. So we do actually help with the marketing.
And do you find that now you've found your calling? Because when you started this, you had been let go with two different full-time jobs in a relatively
Yeah,
short period of time. And
yeah.
do you find that this is your calling now?
I do definitely feel that I found what I'm supposed to be doing. Like I'm a creative person. Like the jobs that I got fired from, they were accounting jobs. And
Uh,
I yeah, and I gotten them because following my uncle's path. I was like, oh, he has this nice big house in Michigan. I want what he has. So how did he get that? He was an accountant. But then years later I found out that he only spent a few years in accounting and went to HR. So like
yeah.
so it was like so but I've always been creative. I think I ran away from my creativity for a while because I don't know. I think I was just running from it. And I've always been a good writer too, but I guess a little laziness set in and I didn't want to do it as much. But then I feel like with and then I always wanted to help people. And then um I've always been about personal development, but didn't really know how to start applying it. So I always want it better for myself. I know that. So I feel like with the combination of what I've always been creative,
Mhm.
always been wanting to help others, always ambitious. So I feel like that combination, I can apply the creativity, the writing, I can apply all that, the helping to the Tarafied Publishing. So I believe that I have found what I'm supposed to be doing now. Definitely.
And it's funny you say ambition, because anxiety, or an anxious person with ambition is is a big thing, because
Right.
you are very ambitious. You're very you see very much into the future what you want to do, but then the anxiety sets in. How do you feel
Right.
now? Has your anxiety gotten any better, or are
It
you continuously dealing with it?
it's definitely gotten better. I still do have my anxious moments. At this time, it's not controlling me though. Like I remember in the beginning, um, I wouldn't get off my couch or I wouldn't go anywhere. Like I had a little bit, I'd say I had a little bit of everything. Social
Mhm.
anxiety. I've had a little bit of agoraphobia. I've had pretty much every anxiety you can name. um like the news used to scare me. Everything
Mhm.
scared me. So of course I still have fears. I still have anxieties, but I'm applying strategies to deal with them better. The breathing techniques, like
Yes.
actually the walking outside, and then positive affirmations. I've been applying all those things. Like before, there I was told about them, but I guess I had to change my mindset to accept the strategies.
Mhm.
Before, because I just thought, oh, I'm never gonna get better. I got anxiety, and that's it. But the will and the mindset shift to actually want to change is what's really helped me. So I would say, people say um, that you can overcome your anxiety. I think that it'll always be there because it's a part of me, but I just
Mhm.
don't let it control me. So it is a lot better because back then I didn't want to do any public speaking, didn't want to talk to anybody. So now I'm at a point where I'm actually talking to people. I'm at a point where I can help people and I feel like I can help people. Back then I didn't feel I can even help myself. So now to be even at a point to helping other people and pushing past my own fears, I would definitely say that my anxiety has gotten a lot better.
I was thrilled when you said that you had some time to come on and speak to the audience, because I find that you're a testament to how it is that you can change your mindset, and that you do have to work on things once tools are given to you. It's there. If you don't use those tools, you don't move forward. And like you said,
Right.
you don't get over the anxiety. You learn to live with it. You learn to deal with it, and you learn to
Right.
move on so that you can have a healthy, a richer, radiant life,
Right.
an authentic life.
Right.
Um,
Right. I was gonna say, because I used to think that because I had anxiety, I could never like achieve anything. But that was just a mindset, you know. You can go after what you want with anxiety, you know. It doesn't have to stop you. And I learned that on this journey that I don't have to be stopped and limited from it. And anxiety doesn't make me weak, you know. It actually makes me courageous and makes me have strength, you know, to be able to share, you know, and be able to talk to people through it all. So, yeah.
Oh, absolutely. It was as I said earlier, because with anxiety, many people feel timid to speak, and you are so brave to come out and
Right.
say, this is what I suffered with, this is what I'm dealing with, this is these are the tools that I now have learned and use, and I'm going to help other people and make other people feel that, listen, if this is what you want to do, if you want to publish a book, you can. If you want to put your
Right.
thoughts down and write and have the world hear about it, you can do that. I think this is a wonderful thing that you're doing.
Thank you so much, Marissa.
Oh, you're quite welcome. And where do you see yourself going? Do you have any plans, say in the next few years? Because this is relatively a new endeavor, and I know you're very busy in
Right,
this
right,
field.
right. So, where do I see myself going? Um, I guess I don't know. For some reason, the first thing that came in my mind was like leaving the country. Like I've never been out of the US. So hopefully I'll be able to leave the country and then do some more, like you said, maybe some in class, like some in-person classes.
Mhm,
So I would like to do some more in-person speaking engagements. Like I've done one back in March and it was, it was scary,
mhm,
but I said, you know what? I'm gonna do it anyway, you know. So like that's like my thing has been like feeling the
mhm,
fear and do it anyway. And I was a complete opposite back then. I used to play violin in my younger years, and
mhm.
then I had stage fright. So there was times where I didn't even get on stage and I just cried backstage, you know. So to be at the point where I'm actually wanting to go and do
Mhm.
things in front of crowds, do things in front of people. So I definitely came a long way. So I would like to do more speaking engagements. Um, and the in-person class thing, that would be a challenge to actually get in front of people and maybe
Mhm.
talk for like 30 minutes or so and teach. So that would be something that I would like to do in the future as well. So speaking engagements and just reaching more people too, like,
Mhm.
writing more books and creating more courses. So reaching more people.
And one last question. Let me ask you, if it was one tool that you say that you use the most to on your healing journey, on your wellness journey, what would that tool be?
One tool that um, I would say putting myself out there, I guess. If that's a tool. Like cuz that was the hardest thing. Cuz for for my first couple years on my journey, I just wanted to post on social media. I didn't want to talk to anyone. I thought, I was like, "Oh, I'm an introvert. I'm just going to post on social media." So, but and that wasn't necessarily working. But to the point, so I started networking. I started talking to people and it was a challenge. So I would say that putting myself out there would be the tool that I used the most. And just facing that fear. I see those as tools. Like, I don't know if you see them as tools, but and also I would say daily exercise too. That has been the big
Mhm.
thing for me. Because it just gives me that motivation to come back the next day to do it, and
Mhm.
in that sense of accomplishment. So I would say putting myself out there and networking and the daily exercise would be the my top three.
Well,
And I
I
know
want
you
to
asked
thank.
for one.
Yes, no, that's fine. That's
Yeah.
wonderful. That's sound advice.
Yeah.
Um, I want to thank you so much for coming on today.
Thank you,
Um,
Marissa.
and as I said, I'll leave all the information in the description, and hopefully we can chat again. I know these subjects, because you can get minute in some of the subjects we're publishing, especially in the health and wellness field, because that's such a large field.
Right, exactly.
But hopefully we will be able to speak again. and have a wonderful afternoon.
Okay, thank you. You too, Marissa.
Oh, thank you. Bye now.
All right, bye.